It's your boy with the beefy crunch burrito
Zach's
tattoo.
back with another attack.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait!
Hey! Corner, I'm in the corner. Take two, Guido.
We are here at the beautiful Ohio Renaissance Festival,
We are.
and I am here with,
Guido Crescendo at your service, my dear.
oh yes, and he had an exciting day today at the festival.
We
before
did
me, and
4 shows daily at the Swordsmen Theater. It was delightful, good crowds. The sun was out. The tanning beds were open.
glad to hear it, and so much more coming in the next several weekends.
Yes, 6.5 more weekends.
Definitely.
Takes us through Halloween.
So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. Firstly, how did you get started in the Renaissance Festival? Were you doing sword?
You know, actually, I begun at King Richard's Fair in 1979 as a Slay the Dragon Jacob's Ladder gamer. And I did that for 2 years and then left and went and did things in the city. And then after meeting Dirk, we came back into it in '89 at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. And got busy working there.
Did you guys just meet from being in the same circles through the Ren fairs, or?
Well, actually, we met being in the same circles in the fight choreography business, doing
Okay.
the Society of American Fight Directors, and we had a similar group of friends, and we finally met in 1989. And if you look at our DVD called 25, which you have at home somewhere, you get the whole story. It's long and convoluted.
So, when you started doing the Ren fairs, how long did it take you to figure out how your show was going to go and how the Ren fair worked, I guess?
Well, we began at the Poetry Slam, the Uptown Poetry Slam in Chicago in 1989, and did poetry slams and comedy showcases for the first year, and then did the Pennsylvania Fair, and then played off Broadway, and then we went to Maine and worked with a director named Benny Reel, and we went to Maine every other year for the decade of the 90s, working on the show and finding out what worked and what didn't, and actually owning it to make it function.
Definitely.
So it grows and changes every year.
Cool. And I've been watching you since I was a little kid, so it's been cool to see the experience change and the ways that it's similar to, and just to see you guys enjoying it still. And what kind of is there one predominant thing, I guess, that makes it worth it for you and keeps you coming back? And I mean, I'm sure the sword fighting's fun, but
sword fighting is fun. The interaction with the audience is what keeps me coming back, because we have full crowds, we have multi-generational audiences, and some of those multi-generational audiences we've known some of the people since they were tots, like yourself. You know, you were a babe in arms at one point during our show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it's crazy for me to go from being like a baby, like you said, watching you guys, to being like a grown-up, bringing a rose in your show to my wife at the end of the show and sauntering off as part of your show.
And so all of a sudden, the comedy is different if you're 6 or if you're 16.
Absolutely.
Or if you're 60. So the comedy is the same, but you get different parts of it. So
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
We enjoy doing multi-generational entertainment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Outside of the Ren Fair, you teach fight choreography, correct?
I teach swordplay for the actor and violence for theater and film at Columbia College, Chicago. I've been there for 37 years, training actors how to deal with violence in stage and film.
Awesome.
And I'm commuting back and forth as fast as I can every week during this festival, so I can teach class Monday through Friday and then get down here for Saturday.
Oh wow! I bet that keeps things interesting.
I tell you, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Is it much different, or is it pretty much the same thing that you're doing during your show?
Oh, it's completely different. It's about training actors to deal with violence in theater and film. So, how to prepare yourself, to physically do the action, and then how to mentally prepare yourself to do the action, so that if you're going to be a bad guy and you're going to do horrible things to somebody and beat them up 8 times a week, how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to deal with being a victim 8 times a week? So you constantly, there's a whole lot of, there's training to be done.
Definitely.
So you can come and get a stage combat minor with me and study for 3 years and 6 different semesters.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if you weren't in the Ren Fair, do you think that you would just be doing more of the teaching, or is there, what other passions, I guess, do you have?
Well, I think if I were to the Ren Fair, I'd be more in the acting line and doing more Shakespeare and more actually performing in theaters in the city.
Okay, awesome. Are you a big Shakespeare performer?
I was. There was a fork in the road in 1989. I could have done Shakespeare or Ren Fair, and I took the Ren Fair. So
that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yep, that's what happened. He's dead. He's dead, right there, down on the ground. Dead.
Oh, the fight going on in front of us. You never know what's going to happen at the Renaissance Festival. Is there one misconception that people have about sword fighting or stage fighting? And I guess
the misconception is that it's different because it's well practiced. It's not made up. It's not improvised. It is rehearsed and honed and rehearsed within an inch of its life. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. When you go to a Renaissance festival, how much of it is performing and how much of it is experiencing it for you at this point? How many years have you been?
This is 32 years.
Okay.
So it's really, for us, it's performing. We're like a ride at Great America. Dirk and Guido are a ride. So just like they have a roller coaster to go on at the Great America, here you would go to the Dirk and Guido show. So we are an event that people are supposed to go do.
That makes sense. Do you feel like once you've done your last show for the day, you get to experience it a little bit more, or do you still feel like you're in that performance?
I am in performance the entire day. So we act as 10 men. So when they hire us, they have 20 people to entertain people on the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Do you find a big difference between the different stages at all of the different fairs?
Oh yeah. And they all have their own foibles and they all have their own pluses. So it's all.
Is that something you got to choreograph, like choreograph it a little differently for each stage?
You have to go figure out what you're going to do on that stage and at what time of the day. So what are you opposite? What's happening at the same time? So it's all crafted. So there's no making things up. We know what we're going to do. And then if we do improv in the middle of the show, we also know where we're going to go there as well. So
that makes sense. And I guess it sounds like possibly not because it's so choreographed and understood what's going to happen, I guess. But has anything ever gone wrong?
Of course. But, you just roll with it and keep going. Swords break, things happen,
Yeah. Do you have a most memorable show?
Actually, the most memorable thing was a few years ago when they did our 30th anniversary party. That was quite affecting.
Yeah, definitely. I'll bet. And then the last question I have that I kind of like to ask everybody that I talk to. I used to run like an organization for preventing bullying or helping kids who get bullied.
All right.
So I just like to ask everybody, like, have you ever been bullied, or do you have any advice for kids that are going through that?
I was very small as a child, so my response to the bullies was to help them with their homework. And so I became indispensable to them and they stopped bullying me.
Well, that's a good way to go.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, my dears.
Awesome talking to you. Have a great day.
Thanks.